Yeah, okay, we are recording. Hidayat? Ooh, he's frozen. Hidayat, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, we can hear you. You can start because I press recording.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm happy we are going to start new.
Hidayat, you are muted.
Oh, sorry. So, okay. Hello, everybody. A few times. So we don't have a new guy, but before starting, anybody want to start anything? We know each other enough. But any topic, discussion, maybe technical, maybe something, go ahead, please. Okay, I assume there is no. So then the first topic, you know, about the mutual credit, that we are going to use it internally. And I would like to just give some credit inside the community. If I learn something from some of you, I'm gonna send you offer, okay? How much does it cost? I don't know actually, and how it's gonna be working, but let's do it. I would like to invite all of you to install the bundle, Holochain. Who already installed? Would you please raise hand? Okay. Lily, okay. Hey guys, please install the bundle, and I exit the chat. Guillaume, did you share the link for installing, guys?
Yes, I'm going to share it again. So if you go to this HackMD, it just gives you the links and everything you need to do.
And Guillaume, do you have any plan to continue talk a little bit about this one, or we can continue?
Right now, I don't. I think it's better that people experiment with it and play a little bit with it first, and then that maybe brings up some questions. So not upfront.
Okay. Tom, I can guess you're gonna say something. Go.
No, I had like a few things which appeared to be bugs I wanted to list, but maybe to see if other people experience the same things. Shall I list them or? Yeah. Well, the first was like I vouched, Sid managed to vouch me in. So I had 2 vouchers, one from Gia and one from Sid. And then when I was in the UI, I could see Sid needed another vouch to get in. And that didn't seem right because he cannot vouch me unless he's in the system. So that was strange. Maybe an eventual consistency thing. And secondly, I noticed my balance calculation is wrong. Like I've offered 55 out, and my balance is minus 60. Seems a bit strange. So I don't know. Something.
That might be because I just accepted your offer, so maybe it's not updated at your end. Maybe that's something, because I just did it like a minute ago.
Yeah, it's recorded you as taking my offer. But my overall balance calculation is weird because I have 25 and 35 transactions offers, and then my credit is minus 60. I would have thought it should be minus 45. So I don't know. A little bit strange.
Interesting. Could you send post GitHub or forum or whatever the screenshot of the balance? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be useful. Thanks. And if anyone finds these quirks, just post them. This is very helpful.
And again, did we create one thread about that the people can start, or we are waiting for Holochain? Because it is better that we can create a thread and the people start writing bug or a feature or something like that. What do you think?
Yeah, I did not create a thread, but I can do that on the virtual Hackalong space.
Actually, I don't know. What do you think, guys? We need to create, because we were waiting for Holoscape new version. Okay, we updated. Okay, so and then we can. It was the initial plan. After the new version of Holoscape, we can notify everybody. Whole community can install application, and then we can say, hey, let's use it right now as a historical moment. The first mutual credit and the community. We are gonna enjoy that actually. So we were waiting for that. But if there are some bug and some feature like Thomas mentioned, we need to create that thread that anybody can report it at the same place.
Yeah, I'm going to create the thread right now and just let people post.
Thank you. So today we have a little bit dynamic content. So based on the people are gonna show, and let's see. First of all, Nastasia, is there anything that you would like to go for the leap? Any topic you have, or?
I've been thinking about the reusable module structure, but I'm not sure I have a lot to talk about. It's just, yeah.
Go.
So the topic here is as follows. Our previous version of Leap had everything in a single DNA. So we didn't have to think about moving data across different DNAs. And with current design, we are thinking about having DNA separate for each particular course. And I've been thinking about how this aligns with another feature that we also wanted to do, which is allow for a module to be reused in multiple courses. And so the problem here is that once you create a module in a particular course, it's stored in its DNA. And if you want to reuse this module in another course, you have to bridge between these two DNAs in order to copy this data from one DNA to another. And then the question of ownership arises. So either you are depending on another DNA to always provide you with this data, or you are making a complete and full copy of this module in your course DNA. And if you are making a copy, are we actually talking about reusability? Because this would not be usable. This would be just a full deep copy of the module, which you now have in your DNA. So yeah, that's one thing.
Nastasia, I got your point. For you, me, and Guillaume, the topic is totally hot. We totally understand, but I'm sure some people cannot recap it because they don't maybe remember what is a module, what is the content.
Yeah.
Do you know what? They don't know what is the content. So, and that's why let's go step by step. Let's see what they can gain. So I suggest we already redesign. We already redesigned the new version of a leap. Okay. Would you like to go explain the first topic? It means multi-DNA. It means previously we created, for those of you, I think everybody were in DevCamp 6, yes? Leap Learning Path, Holochain, Udemy version, okay? So it was a new version. We implemented in DevCamp. Right now, we are going to refactor it with the bigger with the new version and a bunch of new features, feature lists, and we are going to show more inside the Holochain using this new version. So one of them is multi-DNA, dynamic DNA with the access control on the data. It means how in your application you can something not like exactly subscription, but you can wrap it. There is a course, some people are supposed to pay and then join that course. It means you wrap the data. You put the access control on data. How we can achieve in a Holochain? How we can do that using a dynamic multi-DNA or cloning DNA? We are going to do that. And if it is okay, Nastasia, if you have the diagram, would you please, are you ready to explain how it's supposed to be working?
Oh, I wasn't preparing for that, so I think to better address the content, I would postpone this to another meeting. I mean, to the next week.
I can go. I can go. It is okay. For you, it is okay if I can go, or you would like to go? I can explain right now.
Yeah,
You
I
would
mean,
like
I
to
can explain, but I'm not sure I can do it in a consistent manner. So
it is okay. Come on, let's do it. Yeah, open the.
all right, yeah. 1 second. Give me a few minutes to share the
Sure.
screen. Yeah.
Yes, sure. So okay, I can fill out the time, and you can ask your question. So it means the new version of Leap is going to be this one. Amazing. And we didn't finish it. We are talking about the thing we didn't implement actually. So it's going to be multi-payment. It means you can be involved a different community currency. So Leap is a Udemy version in Holochain. It means Guillem can create a course, Holochain, for example, Holochain course, you know? So, and he can say, for the Barcelona currency, you can pay 50 credit and join. For the Cologne currency, you can pay 30 Holochain and pay and join. And from Holofuel, you can pay this one, okay? So if you have installed all of them, when you can at first go to the index, see the list of course, you cannot see the course. So you can join the course, automatically redirect to that specific currency. For example, you and Guillem, it means teacher and a student should be part of the same currency. Both of you should have handle inside that community currency. You pay the teacher, means Guillem, you receive a ticket, and then you join the DNA. It is the whole philosophy. It means you join that course. It is the things we are going to implement. Please hope for us that we can do that. Any question, guys, about the design? Go ahead, Nastasia, you are muted.
Sorry, I haven't found the button to unmute myself while sharing the screen. So yeah, it should be on. Can you see my screen?
Yes, go ahead.
Cool. So this is the architecture diagram of the new version of Leap, one which would have multiple DNAs. So for those of you who've seen the presentation that Guillem gave about the mutual community currency app, it had a lobby DNA, the one that all users are joining when they install the app. And then they were able to join other DNAs when participating in some transactions. So this model is quite similar to the currency app because we have the course catalog. And this is the DNA that all users are able to join when they install the application. This DNA takes care of providing the catalog of all available courses. So this is one zone. It also allows a person to create a profile that would be, well, giving ability to have an addressable username that is human readable. And another thing that it handles is payment tickets.
Can you make it a little bigger, please?
Oh, yeah, sure.
All I see is dots.
Huh. 1 second.
Looks fine from
It's
my
fine.
side.
Yeah, fine on mine as well.
However, yeah, I can make it bigger like this. So
It's a little better.
did it improve on your end? Okay,
It's
cool.
a little better.
Okay. So the last zone in the course catalog is zone that is handling tickets, and it is the one that would be providing the payment functionality. So if a user wants to join a course that they have found in the catalog, they would make a payment with the tickets zone, and then they the table structure for the tickets to be made is outlined here, but I cannot comment on it in great detail because this is something I do not know much about right now. So once user joins the main DNA of the course catalog, and suppose for the easy example, they are joining a free course. They find this course in the catalog and they request to join the course. They do not have to provide any proof of payment. And so the teacher of the course, who is responsible for letting new students in, would allow this person to join another DNA that stores all the course data. Inside this DNA, we have two zones. First one is the course zone that is handling everything related to the course content. So modules inside the content, maybe something additional. And then we have the ticket guard, a zone that in case of the free course would not be active. I mean, it would check that there is no payment to be proved by the user, and that user can join this course on a free basis. And that's all. And in the case of course being paid, user first proceeds to create a payment via the ticket zone in the main DNA. And then when they are requesting to join this course, the ticket guard zone in the corresponding course DNA would validate the payment data that user is providing to it. And therefore, if this payment data is valid, it would allow user to join the course DNA. So that is the context about having multiple DNAs. Are there any questions?
That's taking it to the next level.
Yeah, and making it a more production-ready example, I would say. Because for me, when I started learning about Holochain and I learned that the entire data is stored in the DHT, it was quite confusing that you can only have one DHT per your application and all users would be sharing the data. But then I clarified that no, actually you can have separate DHTs, and that totally changes the perspective and allows for more robust architecture. So yeah, that's for multiple DNAs. Now, back to my reusable module topic. So suppose we have two DNAs three DNAs total. So we have two courses, two course DNAs and one course catalog DNA. And so let's say teacher from one course wants to use module from another one. First question, if this teacher is not actually part of the second course, how do they get access to this module in the first place? How do they learn about this module existence? And once they know that this module is contained in this course, how do they get it into their course? And second question, once they know the address of the data that they want to get, do they make a full deep copy of this module into their DNA? Or there is another option, but I really don't like it. So we could be using something like Rust memory model here, where we say that this teacher is borrowing the module from the different course. And so instead of making a full copy, we could be creating some entry that, I don't know, borrowing module entry. So this would be a record in the DHT of this course in which we want to borrow something. And it would specify that you get this data in another DNA. So yeah, two options. And I don't have much to say about this right now. So yeah, I think that's it. Any suggestions, questions?
All teachers have access? Do all teachers have access to all courses? Or
no.
So then you would have to have access to borrow from the other course.
Yeah. The only difference teacher has from the student in terms of course DNA is that teacher is able to modify the course, but if you are a teacher of course number 1, you would not be automatically a member of DHT for course number 2.
Could you repeat, because I didn't catch it, sorry, could you repeat the first question that you made, because you made 2 questions. The second one was about module reusability, but I didn't catch the first one.
Right. I think I lost the train of thought myself. That's why I wanted to postpone to the next meeting. So the main question here is that I'm thinking about how to implement the modular reusability. So.
Right. Okay. So maybe what we can do, because this is a fairly complex design. So what we can do is talk about this design as a baseline before going into fixing these complex issues with everyone. So is everyone understanding how this is supposed to work, how the ticketing process is supposed to work, and how could you apply this pattern to other applications as well? Or are there discussions to be had or questions to be had around that?
You using the remote bridging pattern for this, is that? Yeah. Do you want to share a bit about how that?
This is also for me to study. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
So what we have been talking about, at least from my part, in this case, we are not exactly using the remote bridge because we don't need to see any information, at least as of now, of DNAs that we don't have installed. But this could be a solution, a possible solution to one of the topics that Nastasia brought up.
Yeah. Remote bridging would allow to get access to modules inside the course that you are not a part of.
Yeah, that makes sense. But technically also we could be querying if we've made the payment, right? If I've understood the flow right. Like similar to vouchers.
Yeah, so if I'm understanding you correctly, if we have made the payment, and as we have made the payment, we are able to enter the course DNA, we have direct access to those modules, right? So there's no need to go around doing difficult things, right? When we can just get the entries from the DHT themselves. But this is not what we can hope for in the majority of cases, right? So if you think about something like Udemy, the overlap between courses, teachers, and so on is very, very minimal.
Cool.
Guys, I suggest and recommend ignore the question, the second part of question about the reusable modularity, because we are not going to cover it right now. It is a really good question. It is like a cube, you know. It means how we can generally, after anchored first or a data first, we can discuss the whole topic. And Nastasia, we had a discussion about the borrowing. It is nice, but for this one, for the leap, we have a bunch of other better topic that we need to go, and even we are not gonna finish or working on it right now. Just ignore about the reusable, because we are not gonna do that. It is a big topic, and also we need to use it in a better situation and in better application. We will bring it back, don't worry. But right now, just go ahead with any design pattern. Data access with the multi-DNA, payment, multi-payment, ticketing system. If there is any question, please.
Sorry, I had to step back for a minute. Did I miss anything?
No. It is for just others.
Okay.
So when you make a purchase, there's going to be some signatures, and then the ticket verifier is going to know how to interpret those. See that they're there.
So it's gonna be working something like that. Look, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, you know, it is the application. This one, this shape, this two color, and green and this one. They are DNA and they are zone. So you are coming in the catalog and you see there are some courses. It is the data, of course. It is telling what is the idea of a DNA, and we will explain you later. Oh, let me open the parentheses now. We are going to start. If it's gonna be a little bit changed, please forgive us, because it is the initial plan we would like to share with you. So, and we would like to see that how it's going to be changed. It means if next week or next 2 weeks we are coming here and telling, hey, we changed a little bit because of this one and that one, I love that one also. But it is initial design. So ticket, catalog, profile, course, this one. Profile, it is just changing your agent ID to one, Hedayat, Guillaume, Nastasia, Thomas, that's it. Catalog, indexing, list of course. You're supposed to see this one. DNA ID, the ID that teacher created, is handled. It is in a profiling, or it can be, generally it is not, it can be the same, but mostly this handle, it's going to be the handle inside the currency you are supposed to pay. Maybe it is the same here, maybe it is not. But the things you are supposed to see here, it means, hey, student, it is the DNA ID. It is the teacher handle that you are supposed to pay. It is the price of 34 in the Barcelona community currency or the Cologne community currency or a Holofuel community currency. And it is the payment gateway. So when you click that, you are telling, hey, I'm part of the, hey, Guillaume, I'm part of the Barcelona community currency. It is the address, you click, you redirect to the payment or mutual application, mutual credit currency. And we even didn't start designing and implementing that part we started here. You would pay, you would receive a ticket. Then with some info, which is the teacher ID and the DNA ID and the teacher ID, you are going to clone the course. In initial of the DNA in validation, initialization, validation, you are bringing the ticket that you have. What is the ticket inside? The ticket has your ID. So the teacher ID, your ID, the payment info with a signature of a teacher. It means the ticket information and signature. If the ticket is free, definitely there is no need for any payment info. Teacher can initially create, by default, teacher can say, hey, this course is free, just create a ticket, free, I'm gonna sign it. Anybody would like to join. The ticket is stored here. Just clone the DNA, just give the ticket. This ticket guard look at your ticket and say, hey, it is a free ticket. And also I see that the signature, because we can double check the signature. Hey, I see, what is the owner of this DNA? Or it is the GM agent ID. I see the signature is equal. Let's a student join. Or it is the pricey course. You are coming here, there is no need for a double check. You are coming with a signature again, but inside the ticket is different. The ticket is telling that this price for this agent ID, which is a student ID, and some other information. And it is signed by GM as a teacher. And it is double checking this ticket guard, double checking again the signature. If you already paid, everything is okay. Again, you can install this one. Question.
So, Hadaya, so is the ticket guard like a token?
No, ticket guard is a zone. It is like a bodyguard in front of the theater.
Okay, so it's entitlement. In terms of the information that it holds, I'm trying to understand the role of ticket guard. Is it it's the gate to whether the student can install their course. Is that right?
Again, anytime would you like this, Kanju? Okay, go ahead, Lily.
Yeah, so it holds the information to determine, it has a responsibility to determine, I guess, based on data that it holds, whether that student has already fulfilled all required, I guess, payment or whatever other things, or prerequisite, whatever, to participate in that course. Is that, am I understanding correctly?
Yes, that is correct. Again, continue. I was in the middle of design, even a few minutes, 1 hour before the course. I think I can show you about the entry design even next time. I don't know if it's going to be ready, but Guillaume, please.
Yes, so actually you're basically right, Lily, but there are mainly two ways of verifying that some payment has been made, something has happened on other spaces, right? There are two main ways to do that. One is bridging and saying, okay, the payment needs to have happened on another DNA, that's the mutual credit DNA, or whatever form of currency is there. So we need to bridge there, see if the payment has happened, and then we let the agent enter or not. I don't like doing that very much. And why is that? Because we are talking about the ticket guard has only a validate agent function. That's all it has, a validate agent function, which needs to validate certain agents in and leave certain agents out. So it's basically a validation rule, right? And because of the quirks with validation rules, if in a validation rule we breach, we are forcing that all the agents have that DNA installed. And we are actually generating cross dependencies between DNAs. What if that DNA upgrades? What if the data becomes stale in that DHT? What if not all agents have that DHT installed? So that's a lot of issues we need to solve. To solve for all that, we are abstracting the ticket pattern, and we are saying, instead of going to wherever it is we need to go to check things, let's do whatever we need to do on the other part of the wall, and that will generate a ticket, and let the validate agent function only check the ticket. And the ticket is basically proven that you have gone through all the steps you needed to go. And here it's the same actually if you have made a payment, if you have some reputation, if you are, I don't know, one main role in your community, whatever. From whatever means you have achieved this ticket, the ticket guard will only say, okay, let me see the ticket. The ticket is for you. The ticket is signed by the teacher, which is the organizer that I'm signing I'm checking the ticket on behalf of, and the ticket is for this course. Okay, so you can come in. It's actually agnostic to how you get the ticket. So you can think about using this in a lot of other situations, like meetup, like entering a new community which has some membranes, like doing a concert or a theater, whatever. The ticket pattern we use a lot in the real world, and it's very useful because a small ticket can signify a lot of different things happened before. And only checking the ticket, you can say, yeah, you did all those things required from you, so now you can pass.
And we're not thinking about revocation of ticket at this point, right?
Not at this point, but that's a really interesting. That's a really interesting question.
I had a question. Like, this pattern could also be used for the mutual credit one, right? But in that case, one of the initial members has to go out and vouch for you in the lobby app, and it generates a ticket, and that ticket, you come in, you enter the app with the ticket.
Yeah, that could also work. You're right. You're right.
I'm just trying to think about like if, yeah, basically if we don't want to do the bridging, this could work as a very much more secure option. So
Yes,
what happens if the ticket guard finds a problem? How much have we exposed to this person is the question, I guess.
How much are we supposed to what? Sorry?
You are going to talk about the warrant, yeah? If the user is going to cheat or something like that.
Yeah.
Generally, you can say, like the big discussion we had.
Yeah.
I don't think so. We can't do anything. Maybe calling API, but so.
But yeah, maybe that's not worth the discussion now. I think that's.
Yeah, it is for. Guillaume, do you have anything?
It's just that this is the same as any validate agent function. So this ticket pattern is just something to put inside the validate agent function. Anything that you put inside the validate agent function that returns error will trigger exactly the same mechanism in this subconscious of Holochain.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, actually, so not even the warrant, like it'll just be, yeah, they won't be able to read. Yeah. So nothing really will be exposed.
Yeah.
Cool. That makes sense.
That's it, Sid?
Yeah, that's
so
it. Thanks.
For everybody, I would like to bring everybody on the same page. Warrant is mean when you do agent do something in the validation, there is an error. Warrant of the subconsciousness of a holochain, it means holochain core supposed to notify everybody, hey, we have a bad actor. Hey, we have a bad actor. Do not play game with him. It is warrant, okay? So when you hear about the warrant, it is the topic of warrant.
Is there
a plan to encrypt any of the course data? Like to actually, I mean, to keep the data, like you should only be able to see it if you get in, not just, you know, be able to go to the side on your Holoport and look at all the data.
Sounds like a very valuable course.
So right now, from the conversations I've had with Hedayat and Hedayat has had with Nastasia, right now, no, there isn't. And one of the reasons for that is that we are not actually designing for Holo yet. Like we are still mainly on Holoscape LAN. So on Holoscape LAN, normal Holochain rules apply. So, and no one can see the data unless they are able to join the, they have the ticket basically.
Come on, Tom, come.
Sorry, I was question. So this is this like a new pattern you've documented, the ticket pattern? Is there any like sequence diagram or anything or any code? Because I'm still don't have it absolutely clear in my mind. But if there was any kind of documentation or code on it.
I'm working on it. When it is a little bit, I can explain a little bit more, but let me finish because we haven't had it. I'm designing. Okay, let me work on it to see it because there are different steps during the design. A lot of things coming right now. It is such sort of meaning of subscription, but it is not repeating. You know, it means access control data. So in the next step, we are supposed to use it as a purchase product. It means, so, and how the guard is supposed to be working, how the guard can be generic. So how the ticket can come and what kind of other condition that we have. Ticket is just a ticket about the price, free and price, or also some condition as a permission condition. It means you can come and join if you have this condition or that condition. So like a ticket, for example, you can go to cinema, but you are not supposed to under 18. This movie is for under 80. It means you need to pay, and then you need to provide your identity that you are higher than 80. You know what do I mean? It means the topic of a ticket is a little bit more, but right now, no, nothing more than this.
Okay, so you're in the conceptual phase. There's no proof of concept code. You don't know, but you're pretty sure that it would work in the code? Yeah.
I'm not pretty sure about anything, even the reality, but let's say, yeah, we hope.
This, in theory, this should work. Like, there is no reason why this.
If anything, it's much simpler than the bridging one or any of the others. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal. The goal is to compress all complexity into one single ticket.
Yeah.
And only have to check that signature.
And I guess to clarify, it's not even it's not conditional on Holochain, right? The ticket pattern, because you can have any to do the signing. So in a way, you are replicating the verifiable credential from the self-sovereign identity without the structures and all the stuff, right? Because the function is actually a verifiable claim or credential, and it's nothing to do with Holochain whatsoever, except the identity in a way, if I understand correctly.
Yes, that is, I can say it can be the mixture of JW token, okay, plus the signature. It is the combination of both. It means like a JW token, you can have some extra info that for this DNA, for this agent ID, for this blah blah, for such sort of thing, I would like, it is my ticket, you know, it is JW token. So in the JW token traditional way, when you provide the JW token to any service provider, so there is one issuer, you know, the provider is trying to connect and to redefine the issuer that it is okay or not, or something like that, okay? Right now, there are two options, bridge and ask always, is that payment true? Is that okay? Or we are in the peer-to-peer, it is here the Holochain is gonna enter. Hey, just come with the signature. I can verify that the teacher, this information that you claim signed by teacher. If I can pass the sign, it means the issuer issued the ticket for you. That's it. The combination works.
Hey, real quick, I was just going to say a good analogy are tattoos, right? If somebody has a tattoo, you can kind of fill in the blanks that they showed an ID, and you know, you can start determining age that way. In the same way, you're kind of getting a tattoo where you don't need to know more about the person, but the fact that they have that tattoo, they can go for it. I was going to say, so yeah, so that's how you see it from, and I was going to say less from a coding and more of a strategic app design phase. I see how you use payment as one of those criteria for creating the tattoo, but also you're creating a tool within an environment of no censorship. So I wonder if payment, especially in this idea of learning apps, right? Like if any knowledge that gets out there is just going to be duplicated and offered for free because you want users, right? So I wonder if just from a strategic app design perspective, if you know, payment's going to be that, you know, necessary and leap, because you got to make this tool understanding that you're operating in a censorship free environment.
Any question? Any other question?
I see. If one thing that's different from what we had before, if I make a course, like if there's a lot happening, a lot of people, and there's a lot of courses, now I make a course. I've made a brand new DNA, so my data is not now going to be replicated out into a lot of places for safekeeping out onto the net. Pretty much I've only got it now in that one place. And then as my students join, it's just going to be me and my students of this course that are keeping track of my data. So I've been a teacher before, and I don't think I would have wanted my students to be in charge of keeping track of my data. but you know, I get it, but you know, it's kind of an issue that there's you know, no widespread spreading around of the new courses like there was with the old LEAP design. If you put in a course, it's going to start going out onto the DHT to a lot of different nodes. I'm not sure I quite understand how the replication count works. I think Guillaume, he made that beautiful you know, diagramming thing. Maybe you know how that works a little bit more.
Sorry, what exactly?
I think he's mentioning playground.
Ah, the playground.
Yes, the playground.
Are
because
you...
you made the playground, it tells me that you understand how data propagates in the Holochain. And so if I make a new course in this new model, it doesn't propagate as far as it did in the old model. It probably only propagates to me until there's a student that shows up. It doesn't go out to other people that were using LEAP, right?
Yeah, you're basically right. So it's a trade-off, right? So DNAs are mainly about read access control. So if you need to separate by access control, which is what we want to do, mainly to like take LEAP to the next level and try all this new stuff, tickets, cloning DNAs, like different teachers doing the same course or whatever, there's going to be less people holding your data. That's a clear trade-off, and you are absolutely right. Only the people with that DNA is going to be holding that data. That said, if you close down imagine you are the teacher and you close down your conductor or whatever, the next time you would add the conductor, the data is still going to be there because you're the one with the data in your computer. So if the DHT goes down because there is no nodes holding data in it, but then you go up, you're the DHT and you can rehold your own data in a sense. The data doesn't get lost if it's on your local machine. Am I making sense?
Yeah, so that's saying that likely the teacher has to be online, I guess, until some of the teacher or some of the students in the course. Like
yeah,
you can't be relying on anybody else.
Yeah, right. At this point in time, though, like for example, in the previous version of LEAP, you had the same, but for everyone. And right now, we don't have very big networks in Holochain. So like this network we are running right now, maybe it's the biggest network in Holoscape that has ever been in Holochain actually. And it's like what, 6, 7 nodes, something like that on Holoscape. So we didn't have that security in LEAP anyway. I don't know, there's different designs we can come up with, but you're totally right in your mental model of things. Yeah. You're muted.
I guess I'm sorry. I guess my question gets at something that's maybe a little bit bigger than this call, which is how do I back up my data? You know, I put my data out there on Holoscape and I'm supposed to trust that all these people are going to keep my data safe. But, you know, let's say I just spent 3 weeks building this course, you know, and I'm going to put it out there. I haven't seen even, I'm sure there's a way, but I haven't seen how to back up my own conductor store, my local storage. I guess I could back up my local storage, but I've never heard a discussion about how I would restore that if I backed it up and then I wanted to restore it. Or, you know, I guess the whole topic of backup and restore maybe is something that we could talk about in this call one of these days.
Now I get it. I get you perfectly, and I'm totally on the same page. Source chain backup will be one of the main things, well, not one of the main things, but one of the big things coming up this year for Holochain, baked into core, I think. I can give more details because I don't know them. But this is something that the Holochain core team is putting their eyes on for sure.
So, thank you, Jim. Asking always more question than advanced question. So, but Jim, you promised me that you are supposed to write your project in the forum. Do you remember? So in 100 Hap Rally, please create a thread and write about your project. So is there any other question, guys? And we can just continue anything, any topic. So we share with you what we are going to do. If you are in designing an application, and as you can see, we just trying to experience ticketing, experience multi-DNA, how the things are working, modularity. That's it. We need to experience. That's it.
One of the important things for me here also is that if you have some project or some idea and you're thinking, hey, this ticket pattern, to just put an example, sounds nice, but I need this for it to work on my case. Like if we can, as a community, get visibility around that, we can create very simple but very robust and reusable modules that are able to be maintained throughout time. So yeah, just say it.
Go ahead, Sid.
I was just waving my hand. I think that's a good point. I think this is a good pattern.
You confirm. Okay, I was thinking
Yeah.
this. So there are some new, not faces, new icon here. Ankit, Roberto, or Damien Dotte. So would you please go? Damien. Okay.
Yeah. So just to give you a little context, just before everyone can start introducing themselves, I invited Damien. I don't know exactly how to pronounce. Maybe it's French. To talk about the project he's building around regular mail on Holochain, which is what Tom, you mentioned last time. So, and this I think is very interesting to, can be very interesting to everybody. So just to give you a little context about that. Thank you for being here, Damian, and Ankit and Robert as well, if you want to introduce yourselves.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Yeah, so I'm glad to be here. Guillaume invited me to present SnapMail. I was a former Holo developer. I worked a lot on Holochain core, and I left last year. And now I'm building this app as part of further commitments to the Holochain ecosystem. Yeah, that's basically it. Should I start right now showing the app?
Sure. And if you are not alone and anybody is with you and you can introduce, or you are alone, just continue.
Yeah, I did this alone. It is a project funded by the Harris Brown Enterprise, like Acorn. So it's part of this mandate that I'm making this app, and it has like specific goals in mind that I can explain. It's like that's why it's called SnapMail, because it was software done by Glassbit Software, and so it's something that already exists but without Holochain, and so Harris Brown Enterprise asked me to redo it but with Holochain. And so this SnapMail app has like a specific context. Like it's not like email for everyone, like the global email. It's more like internal email for like a company or a group of people. So it has like a specific goals in mind. Let me share my screen. So that's why it's quite simple interface, and like everything is in one screen. So let me do the quick demo. So I work on Windows, so it's a bit harder for me to prepare everything, but it does work by using Windows subsystem, you know. So let me start over with just a couple of agents. Up. It's hard to see with the Zoom sharing. So this is the app, and so you just add your handle first here, and then you have your inbox here of mails. You can read mails right here, and you can write mails here, and the list of contacts are here. So if I add another user here, I just need to refresh the contact list, and so I can select a recipient, write a mail, and send it. And so I have signals and notifications that works, and so here it's a direct node-to-node communication for the mail, and so I can see the mail in my inbox here. And when I open the mail, you see I receive the acknowledgement also by node-to-node communication directly to the sender of the email. And so you can read the mail here, and you can see who it's from and other information. You can also put people in CC or BCC list if you want. You can send a mail to yourself. And so you receive mail to yourself, and you can see it in your sent mail. So yeah, it's basically like simple email. And the last thing I added is like the trash function. Like you can delete mail. So if you select the mail and you trash it, it will appear in your trash. So that's basically it. That's what I have right now. What I'm not showing, but works, is the ability to send emails asynchronously. So with the DHT, and that I can explain with the diagram. But basically, the goal of email is, send a message to someone that's not online currently, and for that you need peers to hold the pending mail. Am I going too fast? Is it okay?
That is great. I hope everybody like me are already enjoying. Just go ahead.
Okay. So so yeah, for the diagram explanation, I don't know if you've already saw this one, but that's basically the model for this app right now. So I kind of mixed the UML class diagram with whatever diagram you need to have links, Holochain style, but basically you have, so all the colored ones are the entries. The blue ones is the public one, the red are the private entries, and the green are the encrypted entries. So that's the design I made before writing the app. So the idea is that when you write a mail, you first commit it to your own chain as a private entry. And if you send the mail in a node-to-node communication, then the recipient will receive it and write the mail as a private entry on his or her source chain, and they'll write it as an in-mail. And each of those entries, is composed of this mail class. And one difference between outmail and in-mail is the BCC list, because when you receive a mail, you don't know who was in the BCC list. So that's an important thing to consider. And then when you have the in-mail, you can acknowledge it, and the acknowledgement is kind of like the same thing, but the other way around, where an in-mail can be acknowledged, and that acknowledgement will be sent back to the recipient. And so it can be done directly node to node. And as the initial sender, if you receive acknowledgement, you will acknowledge the acknowledgement by writing the acknowledgement on your source chain as an in-act. that's the design right now, but the in-ack and out-ack entries really don't hold any data. It's really just for the link. And so that way you have all of your mails locally. So you don't need the DHT to, you can be offline and read all your mails. That's kind of the idea here. And so just by following the links, you know what acknowledgement you receive for your mail. And so if the node-to-node doesn't work, if the other person is not online, then instead of writing directly the in-mail, it will write a pending mail entry on the DHT. And that pending mail will be linked to the recipient's handle entry. And so that's why you have this, I don't know if it's too small or not, but you have this mail inbox link type. And so when someone goes online, it will that person will check its mail inbox links to see if there is pending mail, and same thing for the acknowledgements if you have pending acknowledgements. And so that way, when you go back online, you will download all those mails and write the emails in your source chain and delete the pending mail. That's the basic idea. And so the problem with that design is with time, the DHT will accumulate pending mail that is not needed anymore. And the idea for that is to have to use the throwaway DHT pattern and have a way to migrate the DHT to a new version of it or a throwaway version of it, and just migrate the undeleted pending mail. And so with that, and like figure out some kind of tempo of like every month or every week, migrate to a new DHT with that takes out the deleted entries. That's obviously not done yet. That's like my next challenge. And I guess I'm done with the presentation. So that's the design. And currently, it doesn't work like this because you can't do links to private entries. So this link and this link you can't do. And so for now, everything is public entries right now. So that's kind of a bummer, but I talked to Eric about it, and he said that private entries, private links, it might be something they will add to Holochain. So that's why I haven't changed it yet. But another way to do it would be to add that, do the reverse link here and add it as a field of the acknowledgement. And so when you have to parse your whole chain to see if you have an acknowledgement and find back to which email it's associated with, and that's a way to do that link. Yeah, I guess that's it. I don't know if it was clear enough, or if you have questions. Or
yeah, I have a question that in the offline mode, that the other party is offline, that email is gonna be inside the DHT. So how we are going to protect that one? It means you are encrypted with the public key or something like that?
When you're offline, the pending mail, the idea is it's encrypted entry, and I don't know if it's already working for Holochain, but the idea is you can encrypt the content or the whole entry with the public key of the recipient, and so that way only the recipient can decrypt the mail.
Is that the plan? Is there a plan for this? The encrypted key, encrypted entry.
Encrypted entry is a type of entries, yes, currently in the Holochain, but I don't know if it is actually implemented, but it's part of the known entry types, you know.
If I would like to add something, encrypted type, we already have it, but the logic, it is working that when you are encrypting something, it is for you. It means the entry that you are creating, it is encrypted. It's gonna go inside the DHT. Anybody can have it, hold it, or see it, but nobody can see it but you as a creator, as an agent creator. It was another topic. The topic that I would like to send you a secret message. I would like to send you email why you are not online. In that case, I need to have your public key to encrypt a message and put in a DHT. Did you get it? You see, there are two topics here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. The encrypted type, we already have it, yes.
Yeah, like you can
do we have access?
Go ahead.
Do we have access to the public key of the various agents?
Yes, because it's the agent ID. The agent ID is your public key, so you can just encrypt with the agent ID and add it as a as a field on the public entry, and only the recipient could actually decrypt it. So
I have one more question. Have you thought about, so obviously this is within a specific community. Have you thought about solutions for emails outside of this? Like, would it be bridging, I guess, or
yeah, so maybe I forgot to talk about this link here, but when you create your handle, you would add a link to a members directory that is on the app entry. That's the part that's not really open for a global email. Like you can't have a global list of everyone's email address on one spot. So I mean, the first thing, if you want global email, is to not have this automatic. You can have it as maybe as an option in the DNA or as an opt-in thing. And obviously it doesn't scale like I mean, I don't use anchors because for me it's small scale, but if it's like globally scaled, you would need to use anchors for this. And then you would, and I haven't put too much thought into, like spam prevention or having to opt in to receive email from people. Like that's one thing to consider global email.
Yeah, but this is great.
I want to jump in. First of all, I think this is so awesome, and it's much more advanced than I thought it would be. So first of all, congratulations, Damian, for the work and the user experience on the part of the user. I think it's very, very close to what email is, and that's hard to do in these kinds of environments sometimes. So this is great. Maybe a couple questions, couple of comments also. And first, maybe first a comment. So this pattern of a username, not really a username, but a global unique human readable identifier for the agent. This was actually part of a discussion inside the Hackalong for the past 3 weeks or something like that. And the question, one of the questions is, how do you handle, or how do you guarantee uniqueness of that human readable handle? Are you doing anything on that note?
Yeah, that's also part of the global email problem, I guess. Like I don't prevent conflicts in usernames. Currently, if you have 2 agents with the same username, you will only get one entry, one item in the contact list, and that's obviously some kind of bug. But I guess what I would do in the UI, if you have twice the same agent username, then I would add something like the agent ID next to it, so it's different items. That's not a. There's nothing to prevent conflicts in usernames right now. For me, that's not a problem because in the scope of a community, you don't really care about that problem.
Yeah, I see. So about just to comment, this username pattern and also the context pattern is something that we have been working on with, we have implemented a profile zone that deals with usernames, and Kizuna from Tatsuya Sato, one of the community members in Japan, is also doing contact lists. So there is some overlap there. We can talk about how to bring things together so that if there is some interesting pattern around uniqueness or around doing indexing of usernames or handles, something like that, we can reuse each other's work. And the other thing, this is totally up to you, but this is one of the goals of the Hackalong, right? To see, oh, this is more or less like this, so we can join forces. And the other thing is that for me, it's not hard to think about putting this zone besides a membrane zone. So a membrane that does the social triangulation or does the ticket or does whatever. And you have mailing in your small community, whatever that community rules would be. So I think that's a very interesting pattern.
In your neighborhood. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Can you share the link to this, to the resource?
Yeah, the code repo, I can share the link.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I also made a release repo that you can download, and so you can download it and add it to Holoscape easily and try it out. I spent a couple of hours trying to make Holoscape work on Windows, and I managed to have it work, but the problem is I don't have the system tray, so I can't actually add my local app. So it's not usable for me, but I did try it on another Mac and it did work, so I can share the link. About the handle pattern and such, yeah, for me, like I did the handle stuff in the contact list because I tried to make it the simplest way possible. But I know that a lot of people are doing profiles and such, and so there was like no reason for me to reinvent it. So I went the simplest way possible, you know. And the idea is yes to like take it out and use some other persona or whatever way of having identity.
I have a question.
So go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, I have a question, Damien. I'm going back to your design. Maybe you could share your screen again. I was interested in why you chose to have these encrypted entries on the DHT, and you did not instead use asynchronous communications pattern and have the entries on your private chain. So, could you not provide capability token for the recipient to read the pending mail information? Maybe I misunderstood, but is there a way to avoid putting those public encrypted entries on DHT?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, you can have, you could have it work with private entries and just share it with capabilities. The only problem is you have to be online at the same time. So maybe if the person is not online when you send the mail, that's fine. But at some moment, you both need to be online at the same time. Which might not be.
Is there not a callback feature where the asynchronous should work? Like, I know maybe it depends on the front end application. Maybe that's another discussion I'd like to have about asynchronous communication. I think it should be possible.
Also, if I can add, I think the feature of email is that the recipient has a copy of the email, right? And so with capabilities, you wouldn't have the copy.
Well, you would still
like
the problem is the BCC list, that you need to have a separate entry for that and only copy the email without the BCC list, but you could still write that part on your private entry, on your private source chain.
No, but if it only exists on the private source chain, the recipient won't receive it, right? Like, I mean, they only have access to it so long as the capability token is active. And so Thomas, does that respond to your question?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to avoid the issue of writing this pending mail, pending acknowledgements to the.
Yeah, but I mean, because email is this official thing where I should have a copy of the email on my record, on my source chain as well. That would be critical, right? Like, and I can't be at the mercy of a capability token which could be taken away from me.
Yeah, one thing to clarify, I don't know if we are on the same page about that, but capabilities tokens only work when the agent is online. Because capabilities tokens say, this agent can execute this function in my node. So if the agent is offline, capabilities don't work in that scenario because there's no function to call. And in this case, like, you have to do something, right? I don't see a very good way of doing it besides what Damian is doing. Like, if you think about it this way, it's like every agent is its own mail server, right? So normally you delegate the server mail to whatever hosting mechanism you're using, hosting in a sense, like Gmail or whatever the mail server is out there. But in this case, you are your own mail server mail.
Yeah, that's wild.
And this is really interesting. But this means that if you're offline, there is few things that you can do. Maybe a pattern, and that's many days down the road, but maybe a pattern would be to delegate, like saying, I trust this agent so they can receive my mail also. And like in the mail server kind of mental model, you can say, okay, I'm delegating a mail server to Sid's Holocorp, which is always offline. This could be another pattern. I don't know if you have thought about this, Damian.
Yeah, that would be my second way of doing it, and it seems more complicated and like trying to, in some way, you're reproducing the DHT, but manually. So it's, but with more trust in it, obviously, because in the pending mail will be held by whoever on the DHT, but yeah.
Totally makes sense. Yeah, it is more complicated for sure, and you can start thinking about reputation of mail servers, uptime, and you can add like whatever layers or complexity you want there. But I think this is perfectly good enough for now.
And what is the benefit? And what is the benefit between this one and putting in the DHT? What is the benefit that you are going? Because if we are going to implement the scenario, then both are supposed to be online. It is not anymore mail. It is the peer-to-peer messaging. That's it. If we are going to say that any other agent supposed to be a mail server or something like that, the DHT is doing its own job. What is the difference? Did you get my point, my question?
Is the only difference that he's got a garbage collection that has to happen every once in a while by doing it this way. That may not be too big of a deal, though.
Yeah, that's an open question on how hard it is to do the throwaway DHT stuff. But I mean, I agree. Like if you only have synchronous message, then it's not really email. It's just P2P messaging, which is fine. But it depends on what are your needs. I know, like for me, the what's coming next for the SnapMail is to have contact groups, so a way to group contacts for yourself, and also a way to send messages at some point in time and not just right now. You know, you can send reminders to yourself periodically, or send messages to other people periodically in the future. So that's maybe a difference.
Hidayat, I don't know if I understood your question correctly. So you were comparing this pattern to putting everything out in the open on the DHT?
I'm telling we need to find a scenario that two guys supposed to be always online, that to contact, to see it. It is not anymore a meaning of mail. It is the peer-to-peer messaging. It means I'm giving you a message, you're saving that message. So if we are going to take a look at the DHT, DHT is the box. What is the meaning of a mail? Look what's happening. Mail, it means there is a box. I'm coming and most probably putting something in your box and you will take it. Why it is box? As you know, what is happening? Like always, GM, let's go back to the reality. Post is coming and ringing the bell. Can we go back to the, would you please stop sharing the demo? That's good. Let's go back to reality. So what is the post is coming? Post is coming and ringing the bell. So if I go down, he's giving me the mail directly, okay? If I'm not present, he's putting inside the box. Inside the box that I installed in front that available 100%, you know? So, and also in Germany, I don't know what's happening in your state or city, please share. Here there are, if it is the bigger box or something like that, they are gonna deliver to neighbor or even a small shop that it is here, okay? If it's supposed to be asynchronous reading, it means both of them supposed to be online and to deliver to each other. It is not any more meaning of a mail. It was my topic. It means always there should be a meaning of a box that I need to put it inside. There is no need to be online, neither me nor the post agent. That's it.
That box could be a holoport.
So you're speaking to the store and forward.
But what is the meaning
also,
of the, go Lily.
No, so the standard store and forward for the asynchronous, where like exactly like you said, it would be stored somewhere if you're not there, and you can go pick it up when you come online. Then there's a privacy. That's probably why the email. That's why the email is encrypted. So I guess in this case, the DHT is the store mechanism, but then you don't want everybody to read your email when you're not there.
That is the things I'm mentioning. It is DHT. That is the DHT. But it was my question. Okay, we know it is the meaning. Guillaume suggesting to bring the holoport, or right now Sid mentioned. I want to see what is the benefit of this one. Just a garbage. It means nobody just threw the email inside the DHT. Always it is accumulated inside the server or agent. It was just the reason, Guillaume?
I was
Tom asked the question. Tom asked the question first, but you could use capabilities, and then we came up with all other kinds of things that we could do. We could delegate to another agent, and the question, so that would be storing the mailbox that has the mail that's to be delivered later, instead of being stored on the main DHT, would be stored on the local chain somewhere in a delegated agent or whatever. And I guess the Diet's question is, what is the benefit of storing it on someone's local chain as opposed to storing it in the DHT, as long as it's encrypted well enough?
That is the right question.
Damian, do you have some comments about that? I'm sure you have thought more about it. If not, I can just whatever comes up for me.
I guess the difference is the deletion, but I mean you still have one copy of the mail locally anyway. But if you have it locally on somebody else's source chain, then that source chain will also bloat with time. So that's maybe the main difference. And then we said about the trust thing, like the metadata of knowing that you received a mail from somebody else, you know.
Yeah, so for me, it seems like a trade-off, but not really, in the sense that if you are delegating your box or whatever to another agent, that agent maybe is not holding your mail, is holding a lot of people's mail, and that, as Damian said, gets big very quickly. So I guess that if you do it like in the delegate pattern, the downside is that you have to more or less trust the agent to deliver all your mails, because they are not going to be able to read your mails, but what they are going to be able to do is not tell you about those mails. They are going to be able to know you don't have anything, but in reality, they have received the mail. And you don't have much gains in terms of performance or DHT load. So in that sense, it's not a very good trade-off, I think. So I think storing on the DHT is a better trade-off right now and in the foreseeable future, I think, because you don't really gain much and you are adding a trust layer, which with the DHT you don't need, basically. Maybe in very, very small networks that can be different, because if there are only 4 nodes, the DHT is very probable to is very has a lot of possibilities to go down, right? So I don't know if that would be an issue there. Damian, have you thought about that scenario?
Sorry, I missed it. Can you repeat that scenario?
Yeah, if does this overall trade-off, like we have 2 basic patterns, one encrypted into the DHT, 2 encrypted onto some delegate server, in a sense. And the trade-off seems clearly win to the DHT, encrypted to the DHT pattern, at least right now. Does this change when the DHT is very, very small, as in 4 or 5 nodes, in which it's very likely that the DHT is going to drop off at some moment?
Well, if you have a very small DHT, then the delegate pattern will not work also, right? So it's
the delegate pattern, if the delegate pattern is based on having some like 2-3 nodes online always, yeah, then the DHT is always on as well, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you want to do the delegate pattern when you can't rely on people holding the DHT, because then you have at least those servers. So no. In a way, it's like saying, hey, these 2-3 nodes in the DHT are always on, and we encrypt everything on the DHT. So guess what? The mails end up on those 3 nodes. So there's really no much gain for that. So scratch that. Sorry.
Well, the premise is that the throwaway DHT pattern works nicely, and you're throwing away the whole DHT. So if you have an app with all kind of different data, then you can't throw away the whole DHT because of messaging. So it would have to be a separate DHT for that.
So actually, Damian, first of all, thank you very much for everything you did. So it is not the topic we are asking the project coming, explain and bombard with a lot of questions. It is just part of a funny part of the job. And the next one, we would like to ask that, what do you need? How we can help? Do you need us to help you? Do you have any design? You are fantastic. You were part of a core team. Definitely, we cannot reach your knowledge actually, but just share with us. Can we help you in anything?
And also, just to emphasize, if you have in the application some module that could be reused in other applications, like this is the perfect scenario for us, because if we can say, okay, let's go do that module here on GitHub or open source, and then we all can reuse it, like that would be very, very awesome. Sorry.
So it means first go for the first one. How we can help you, how we can support you. Any topic, anything?
Well, I mean, I have knowledge from inside Holo, but I have less knowledge than you guys on the tools that I mean, like Holoscape or whatever. Like I never used that much, so you guys know more than me how to test a Holochain app with a lot of different people. So that's something I haven't tried a lot. Like I mean, having it tested in a weird real world environment. That's something I haven't done. I've already tested locally all the time. And I guess, I mean, I don't see where I could need some help right now. I mean, I guess all the bridging, for example, I haven't done any bridging yet, so I'm not sure how that works. So if you have resources on that, I'd be happy to look at them. And in regards to modularity or breaking things up in reusable components, for me, this app is like in 3 parts. There's like the usernames handle, which is really separate. And then you have the throwaway DHT part, which needs to get done. And for me, the throwaway DHT pattern is something that could be used by, you know, by any kind of app. So this has to be made separate in some way. And then this asynchronous messaging or even synchronous messaging, like having the this way of doing of having the outmail and email, like always having some element entry in 2 parts, one on the recipient and one on the sender. This is a very generic thing, and I'm pretty sure that's how the mutual credit app also works. Like you always have 2 sides of one transaction, and that's kind of the same thing here. So that's quite generic. So I don't know if that could be made in. I mean, since it's a generic pattern, I'm not sure the way I did it in SnapMail is like the best and the best way to do it, and the one to start from to make it reusable. But there's like maybe look at how I made it and how the mutual app was done and see what are like the commonality of it and extract the pattern out of that. That's all I got.
Okay, cool.
Thanks. I can just ask if you're thinking about spam or spam filters, like I would love to like push some of that thinking if you're interested, because I feel like one of the benefits of community-based email is you don't have to have one overarching spam algorithm. Like each community can choose their templates, which I think is really cool. So if you're thinking about different templates for flagging spam or blocking certain emails, I'd love to like push some of that thinking. And some of the communities I'm part of would love to test this when you feel it's ready. Like I think that'd be really cool. I mean, even if it's blowing up in our face, we're happy to experiment with it.
Yes, I love to resonate, Sid. I create a list. Please correct me, Damin, and let's see how we can help you. You mentioned test, bridging, and a spam filter. Is there anything else that I would like to see? And I'm going to find a way that step by step, how we can support you in a real action step. You know what do I mean? It means, for example, test. Can you create one page, or can you how we can go for? Would you like right now to go for the maybe GM can help? Right now we need to have another meeting first of all, or we can go to Holoscape to see everything is working. We can ask all the people first of all here and go for the testing. We are gonna come to you for the support.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, yeah, I don't know, like try it out in Holoscape and file bug reports in the snapmail release repo, I guess. Maybe where I can need help is the UI. Like if you want to fix some stuff in the UI, like feel free to submit pull request and maybe, I mean, it's just an idea, but you could also make another kind of UI, like more like a Gmail kind of UI for the snapmail. I went with really the simplest way possible by using web components and here using Buddy. But you can really like do your own React-based or whatever UI for mail, and that's really up to you if you want to have like a really full-fledged. I mean, if your end goal is to have like a really full-fledged email app with Holochain, then go for it. But that's not my goal with Snapmail. My goal here is really like staying simple and using it as the Snapmail use case by Harris Brown Enterprise. And so so that's I mean that's all I got right now. Like I wasn't expecting this audience right now, so I'm very happy to see it and so yeah, I mean.
So Damien, let me suggest this one because I would like to have a real action activity. Okay, for the test, I think all of us are gonna be interested to test it. Okay, we need to go Holoscape, and we have some example and tutorial to go for Holoscape. I can say it can be one first step that you can start to see how you can create a bundle. And if you need help, we can start bringing to next Hackalong here next week, or we can go for a thread. You can continue your thread and we can answer. When it is ready, all of us are gonna test it. It means I would like to say what action we can do for testing. Do you have any idea? Do you have any road plan? It was my suggestion. We need to go to Holoscape.
I mean, I guess you could just, like I say, download the Snapmail release repo and add it to Holoscape and try it out. And then to give feedback, there's the GitHub repo, or maybe I can start a thread in the Holochain forum. Although I don't know what's best here, but I guess that's a start.
But we need a bundle, yeah?
We have a bundle, Hedayet. That's what he's saying. We have a bundle.
Okay, good. That's it. Can you share?
Yeah, the bundle is in the Snapmail release.
Okay, good. That's it. Great. So I'm gonna install.
Yeah.
And about the bridging, would you like to continue the topic next week?
Not next week. I'll be moving to a different city, so I'll be quite occupied in the next following weeks. But maybe next month.
Okay. So, and the topic of spam filter, both of the topic, there is a topic of UI I would like to mention. Anybody would like to continue, just please go for any UI, Gmail UI, React, and communicate with Damien. So, and a bridging and spam, you can open the topic in the thread forum and we would continue. So, and I'm gonna put it in our list. We are creating a list, even because any session we have some invited people. Somehow it's happening that maybe invited is not gonna come or something. We have enough space. We can open the topic. But if you yourself would be here, it would be fantastic. So that's it from my side. That feel free, please, to come about any question that. There is no need for invite. Actually, we are invited you that to show you that we are here every Wednesday. This time we are here, and the community, for the community, there is no need to invite. We are inviting the new community member. It means we are inviting people that it is the first time they are gonna be here. That's it. For the future, please come here. Feel free, just open the talk.
And sorry, can I ask a question? Sorry.
Go ahead, Lily.
Sorry, this is on the mutual credit. How long is this supposed to, I joined the network a while ago, and now I'm still seeing the spinning wheel saying cloning DNA and joining network. Is it just taking some time to validate, or? Should
No,
I start?
that looks like an issue. Yeah, restart the Holoscape,
Okay.
and let's cross the fingers.
Okay.
Because the cloning process is one of those don't shut down the computer.
Okay.
But Holochain doesn't have any kind of integrity on the
Gotcha.
backend there.
All right, I will
So
do that.
let's cross our fingers that all the process was completed.
Okay.
I had one more question for Damien, or comment on this. I was thinking about it. I do a lot of email, traditional email stuff, and in traditional email, there's the mail transport agent and there's the mail user agent. And so the mail user agent is handling the mailboxes. In my case, I use Dovecot, is handling the mailboxes. It's an IMAP server, and then Postfix is running the transport agent. It seems to me that you could maybe get some benefit by splitting into two DNAs, one DNA that would be holding the mail, the encrypted mails, and that would be the DNA that would need to be garbage collected, or whatever you call that, replaced every once in a while. But then the user level DNA would be one that you don't have to. So you'd be storing the encrypted mails in a separate DNA that gets replaced all the time, but the one that the users are in, the user agent level, would be a DNA that doesn't need to be replaced like that. Does that, see what I'm saying? Split it into two, maybe? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that's totally my goal for the throwaway DHT. Is really having a separate DNA for the throwaway parts and bridge with the main one, which keeps all the mails and the user agent. So yeah, totally.
So hello everyone. Since I'm like helping the group like shift gears a little bit, so I'll introduce myself. This is my first virtual hackalong. I've started viewing some of the previous hackalong videos online, and other than that, the reason, firstly, like I'm participating actively on the forum and trying to learn what's going on. And myself, I consider myself to be a non-developer. So my goal over here is to just listen in, get a feel of what's going on, what conversations are happening. And personally, I'm a Windows user. So what Damien mentioned about the struggles with Holoscape and other things, installing Holochain and other things. So I would definitely appreciate if somebody is interested in helping out, have a Zoom session, we can record it and then put it online for other big nerds like myself to get an idea of how to get your machine up and running and start building stuff, like just getting your hands dirty as a beginner with tools that is already there in the system. So that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, so that's a great idea, I think. Also, here I think that the session, virtual hackalong that SIT is holding on the Asia Pacific time zone, I think could be very interesting for those of you that don't fit in the developer category, but want to try and experiment using things like Modularity and Chimera, the new RAD tools and so on. Sid, I don't know if you want to talk some about that, but I think that's a really interesting place to go as well.
Thanks for calling them power users. So people who have skills in plugging and playing and pulling together tools to build something for their community or their app or whatever they're thinking of. And that's, I think for me, that's what Holochain has really thrown up, right? Like this new category of users. So that is scheduled Thursday mornings, Asia Pacific time. So that's 9 a.m. Singapore. So that is in 7 hours from now. And in tomorrow's session, we have Bosby of Holo REA. So he's going to be sharing his perspective on modularity and how HoloREA can help you build economic networks. So that should be a fun one. So if anyone's up in 7 hours from now, I would like to invite you guys to join. In fact, I'd like to ask him how he could map the mutual credit app onto HoloREA. Like, I think that might be a good question as well. Let's see. Yeah, so the invite to that is on the forum.
I think before Ankit, any topic, anybody else topic? So Thomas, I think you wanted to ask a question because it is almost 2 hours. It is 8 minutes. Please go for your question.
No, it was just quickly to thank Damien for his presentation demo, and also to, I already put it in the chat, but to like list in the forum the things that are blocking like a perfect email solution, like things that in the core, they need to do in the core development, such as allowing links on the source chain, some other features. Maybe you could list that in the forum thread. Like if there are things that we need to make these basic apps work well. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll just create a SnapMail thread on the forum, and I'll add it to it. I'll add that to it, and yeah, thanks a lot. It's been a pleasure being with you guys, and it's really a nice community. I'm happy you liked it, and I'll try to join the next sessions when I can. I'll have to go now, so thanks again, and see you on the forum.
We will be waiting for you, Damien. Thank you.
Yeah.
We will be waiting
Thank
for
you.
you.
Thank you, man.
Excellent work.
Thanks.
Can someone help me install this app? This app is not working for me.
Which one?
Yeah, we have the same problem as I was mentioning the last time with
Which one?
Holoscape.
Segmentation, I'm following the Hack.io instructions, trying to get the, I guess to get Holoscape running, and then to get the bundle running, following the instructions that were posted at the beginning. And I tried to run the shell, and I got core dump, and then Jacob suggested in the chat to me that I try to run it as root. And with the no sandbox option, so I run it as root with the no sandbox option. But then he also suggested that you can't use the script for that because it doesn't pass the arguments through. So run the executable directly. So I ran it, the executable directly, and with the no sandbox option, and up came Holoscape. I got the GUI on my screen. It looks great, but then there's no install from file option, and I guess that's because I used no sandbox. Is that the truth? Is that why? That I don't have install from file because I said no sandbox?
That's a very good question for the developers of Holoscape. Like, I don't know. That could be. Do you have a system tray?
Yeah, have you tried? It's up there. It's not in the GUI.
Like, let me share.
Oh, okay. Well, let me try. I have to run it as root. If I don't run it as root, I get a segmentation fault.
Sure, but just for everyone to see, like I have my Holoscape here, right? And you can see my beautiful, our beautiful UI with a very beautiful glitch here. But anyway, it's up here in the top right corner in the system tray that you can go install app from file, which is this. Is that, do you have that, Jim?
Let me look. My windows were bouncing around while you were doing that, but I won't.
Sorry.
I've loaded it back. I've got the Holo is running again. In the system tray,
If not, what we can do is we can, because this seems that it's happening to you, Jakub and Jim, if you post in the thread, the forum post of the Holochain community currency experiment, which I just created, we can try to figure that one out there, and that way other people can also see it. Does anybody need a vouch before we go?
It's gonna cost you.
I have a Holochain menu that's up in the system.
Right. Okay, that's the one. And then if you click there, it should say install hub from file.
I have a list of open windows, which is just one open window, and I have show details, and I have quit.
You don't have install app from file?
No, sir.
Okay, that might be the no sandbox thing. It should be there.
But no sandbox, like it won't let me run as root unless I say no sandbox.
Let's try to do it in the forum.
In the forum, yeah. Jim, let's bring it in the forum, because I also had the same problem. If you are gonna fix it, I cannot fix my problem. So bring it please to forum that somebody answer and anybody else can use it. Thank you, man.
All right, guys. Good
So
night.
Sid, bye-bye. And at the end, like always, 2 hours longest. Anybody would like to say at the end, Kiam?
It's always awesome to see everyone, and I think that these sessions are more and more vibrant with new content and new people and new ideas, and people are starting to connect with each other, and this feels really awesome. Thanks.
Thanks, love guys. All of you. I love you. Bye-bye. Till the next session. See you. Stay healthy.
Take care, man. Bye.
Ciao.